Okay, hold on to your hats and glasses. We're going for a ride today. So, the nature of the self, or the universe, or God, is said to be Sat Chit Ananda. Absolute truth, absolute consciousness, and absolute bliss. Now, who wouldn't want that? Here's what we get. The small self says, I want the Sat, the truth, and the Ananda, the bliss. Hold the Chit. Keep the Chit. I don't want the Chit. I don't want the consciousness. But you gotta have, it's all or nothing. You're either gonna get Sat Chit Ananda or avidya, ignorance. It's just the way it is. So you hold the Chit, can't do it. The Shakti, what's the nature of the Shakti? Consciousness. Chit.
Chit Shakti.
Chit. Shakti. Conscious energy. Oh, I just heard. So, can you move forward in your sadhana, in your practice, without Chit? No. So, can you move forward in your practice without Shakti? No. So, as it gets stronger, what does the individual do?
Resist.
Yes. So we've talked about the awakening of the Kundalini. What's the purpose of the awakening of the Kundalini?
Wake you up.
Sat Chit Ananda. Can the individual go on its own to Sat Chit Ananda? No. Can the individual become Sat Chit Ananda?
No.
Does it think it can? Rohini is Sat Chit Ananda. That's ridiculous. What is Sat Chit Ananda? The self? The nature of God? So what happens with the awakening of the Kundalini?
There's an awareness of that there's that it, what you're thinking, the small self thinking is not real.
Yes. We then have this consciousness that we didn't have before, growing. And it goes to the Sufi story that when he says, whenever I'm here, God isn't. And whenever God's here, I'm not. And no matter how much I beg and plead, he always says it's either you or me. So the great sacrifice is giving up what isn't ourselves. This isn't me. I thought it was, but it's not me. It's okay. It's not so hard. Not so hard.
And the things that we have to give up are usually so awful.
Yeah.
You know, it's, I mean, for myself personally, it's like, I can't believe, like, I
Was holding on to it?
For so many years, you know.
Right. It has the ridiculous once we've done it. So, I wanted to go to the Yoga Sutras some today at the end. And yes, this book, I love this. This book is not in great shape. But I've been using it for a long time. I have other copies, but. Fourth section, Kaivalya, at 1 minute. In consequence of the mind being colored or not colored by it, an object is known or unknown. In consequence of the mind being colored or not colored by it, an object is known or unknown. Number 18, the modifications of the mind are always known to its Lord on account of the changelessness of the Purusha. The modifications of the mind are always known to its Lord on account of the changelessness of the self. Purusha. Number 19. Nor is it self-illuminative, for it is perceptible. Nor is it, the mind, self-illuminative, for it is perceptible. Number 20. Moreover, it is impossible for it to be of both ways, as perceiver and perceived at the same time. Moreover, it is impossible for it to be of both ways, as perceiver and perceived at the same time. The mind, number 23, the mind colored by the knower, the Purusha, the self, and the known, is all apprehending. Okay? I'm going to read the same sutras from Hariharanandas. External objects are known or unknown to the mind according as they color the mind. Number 17 again. External objects are known or unknown to the mind according as they color the mind. On account of the immutability of Purusha, the self, who is master of the mind, the modifications of the mind are always known or manifest. On account of the immutability of Purusha, the self, who is master of the mind, the modifications, the thought forms, the vibrations of the mind are always known or manifest. It, mind, is not self-illuminating, being an object, knowable. Mind is not self-illuminating, being an object, knowable. The moon is not self-illuminating. It is an object. Both the mind and its objects cannot be cognized simultaneously. Besides, both the mind and its objects cannot be cognized simultaneously. Now, I think that's pretty funny when you start realizing the truth of that. If the mind were to be illumined by another mind, then there will be repetition and ad infinitum of illumining minds and intermixture of memory. That's the mirror in the mirror in the mirror in the mirror at my Aunt Ray's house. The mind stuff being affected by the seer and the seen is all comprehensible. The mind stuff being affected by the seer and the seen is all comprehensive. Now, here we go. I've been doing this little kindergarten show and tell for a long, long time. And though I use a cosmetic travel mirror that I bought for this purpose, because it's both sides, and I use these things and I use all kinds of things, doesn't make this easy. It's supposed to make it easier to understand. So here we go. What is this? Two-sided mirror.
Mind.
The faculty of knowing. The faculty of knowing, which is what? Buddhi. Intellect. The intellect. And what does the intellect do?
Sensory.
No, that's the data collector. That's the, yeah?
Makes decisions.
Decisions. I just made a decision. I like your hair. I took it in. It got colored. My mind got colored. I took it in. I made an assessment. I didn't identify with it. I like your hair.
Thank you.
You can identify with it or not. All right. So that was a known object, right? I took it in. But it's here. So once it's in my mind, is it the same as what's out there? No. Now that's her hair. It goes in, I take it in. The faculty takes it in. Faculty of knowing assesses it. Correct? All right. So this is the faculty of knowing. That's me. Is it? No. Just as, is that the object? No. Where's the object? Over there. Where's me in truth? Over here, over hill, over dale, here, right here. That's me. Now, do I know that that's me?
No.
No. Well, actually, yes. Sorry, guys. Do I know that's me? Yeah. Okay. But most people do not know that that's. What do most people think is me? Noah. This guy. And who is this guy? Who is that?
Me. I.
Yeah, me. Hi. Okay. It's a reflection in the mirror of the faculty of knowing. Now, here's that horrible word again, chit. Consciousness. So, is the knower consciousness? Sat Chit Ananda.
Yes.
Correct. So when it goes in here and it goes into this and looks in the mirror, becomes and sees that reflection, is there an element of consciousness in there? Yes. So that then it enlivens what?
The intellect.
The intellect gets enlivened, and then the intellect then becomes conscious, and therefore it is
No.
me. Is it me? No, it's an echo. It's a reflection. There's finally a lot of O's in here. Ah, thank goodness. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Back. In consequence of the mind being colored or not colored by it, an object is known or unknown. So that's an object. I take it in. It's coloring what? What we call the mind, which is the psychic instrument made up of data collector, ego, and intellect. Takes it in. Is it taking it in now?
No.
No. What would I have to use? What modification would I have to use now in relation to that?
Right.
No. Memory.
Got it.
Memory. 5 modifications. Oh yeah, I got it. It's there. It's colored. It was colored. I took it in. I'm taking it in. Not taking it in anymore. memory. Now you can see how wrong knowledge, snake in a rope. Conjure, hallucination, making it up, deciding. So there's a difference between, so does wrong knowledge take in an object? Yeah. It takes it in, and what does it do to it, though? It twists it, so the intellect is then what? What is the intellect? Dirty. Dirty. So it can't see the object clearly. And if it's dirty that way, it's dirty that way. The modifications, that means all the vibrations, all the thought forms, all your great ideas of the mind are always known to its Lord on account of the changelessness of Purusha. So, who is its Lord? Who's its Lord? Right? But I got my show and tell here. You got to use this. Yes! This is the... So, is this self-illuminative?
Yes.
Is this all-knowing?
Yes.
Is this the master of
The whole thing.
the whole thing?
Yes.
Yes. The modifications of the mind are always known to its Lord on account of the changelessness of Purusha, the self. So now, this is like highest level, right? That is the mind, correct? Faculty of knowing. But we think it's us. I got a great intellect. No, I don't even think in those terms. I am smart. So what has happened to the faculty of knowing when we have that?
It's usurped the role of the self.
I am. It's no longer I am knowing an object. I am the object. That is the first delusion. That is the first ignorance. 5 kleshas, afflictions, taking what's not real to be real. Is this real? No. What's real in this thing?
No.
The knower. Taking what's non-self to be self. Is this the self? No, but we take it to be the self. Right? Is it pure? No. Not if we take it to be, right? No. That's ignorance. And almost simultaneously, like this, once we decide this is the self, we then lose our subject in the object. So this disappears, right? We think we are self-illuminative now. And who is we? Who is we? Faculty of knowing. That's just an instrument. And that instrument, based on its cleanliness, and that would be whether it's tamasic, inert, rajasic, active, or sattvic, which would be clear and clean, we are going to be attracted to certain things because of it, We're going to be repulsed by certain things because of it. And because at this point, who are we? We're that. We're this. We're going to cling to this for dear life. Fear of death, and cling to it. We will negate anybody who tries to take this away from us. And that is the human condition and the nature of ignorance. Because is this ever going to be us? No. Plato's cave, the shadows. We are not the shadows. Oh, we are not the shadows on the wall. But the nature of this is we're ignorant. Remember, ignorance is avidya, which means a different kind of knowledge. It's not no knowledge. It's a different avidya, different kind of knowledge. And we then believe our avidya is vidya. That's the nature of ignorance. We are unaware. So what has had to happen in order for this to occur? No chit. No consciousness. We have no consciousness. We have, remember, we lost it. So we think this is self-illuminative now. We don't know we're actually the moon. The moon sits around and goes, well, I'm really bright tonight. No, you're not. The sun is really bright and it's shining on you. No, I'm me. I'm self-illuminative. So if we get rid of the sun, what's going to happen to the moon? No light. But the nature of this, do we even know that? Do we want anybody telling us that? Don't you tell me I'm not self-illuminative. And that me is me. No, it's not. So here's the piece. It is perceptible, correct? If it's perceptible, hold on to your hats and glasses. Who's perceiving it? Who's perceiving it? My book?
No.
The self. Oh my God. Here. Moreover, it is impossible for it, at this point in my delusion, me, but the mind, to be of both ways, as perceiver and perceived at the same time. So, here it is. I want all of you right now to have a conversation inside. There, just have a conversation internally. Easy for some of you. You've been doing it all along. Okay, you having a conversation? First off, it's the same voice. It isn't, hello, Rohini. Hi, how are you? All right. No, it's always the same voice. We're terrible ventriloquists. What happens? Are we having a conversation? Are we having a conversation? We think we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it us at that moment?
That's what it feels like.
Yes. It's the perceiver. The mind is operating as a perceiver. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to disentangle. Move back. Let go. And let your mind think. Disentangle. And let your mind think. Can you perceive your thoughts? So now you're not the subject. The mind is not the subject. It's perceptive. It's perceptible, right? You can perceive it. Now I want you to see if you can be the subject, the perceiver, and the object, the perceptible, at the same time in the faculty of knowing. Go. Well, can't do it. Why not? Why not?
Because how could you be something that you are perceiving? Like, how I can't do it.
Anyone else? Yeah, you can.
have to perceive from a different place.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like trying to be in two places at one time
Mhm.
with the physical body. It's rather like that.
And we do that in greater and greater degrees as I'm lost in the object. I'm my own person. When do we believe we're own person? Where are we when we believe I'm my own person?
I'm having a conversation.
No, I am the faculty of knowing, and I can perceive that camera. I'm not that camera. I know that. That's very beginner. But how about when we lose our subject in the object and we are the camera? Or another person? Or a vibration? Or an emotion? Or an idea? Or our bodies? Whatever. We lose our subject. No, we lose our subject further down the trail. Is this making sense? So remember, if you're sitting there going, wow, I'm realized. I'm finished. I'm the perceiver. Or remember how on Monday we did the deer thing? That's not the perceiver. Does everyone know that that's not the perceiver? That's when people completely just look up. If you just look out, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's also important to distinguish. It's easy to be completely in your head and look at a thought that's spun out. So looking at a thought is not looking at your mind.
Right. Remember, use a wedge to get rid of a wedge, but then you have to let go. So if you are going to no longer be your mind, what is going to have to be eliminated? Come on, what's going to have to be eliminated? Thoughts! Thoughts! Oh! 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 Yes, thoughts. So if you're thinking, I'm realized, you are an object. You are your mind. You are your faculty of knowing, having a wonderful conversation with your faculty of knowing. Back to chit. Consciousness. Is consciousness sitting around having conversation? You know, Rahini, I was wondering. No. No. Does the knower, the witness of all, go, nice day? The whole thing of the general? No. Who can only have thought? The mind, the faculty of knowing. Oh. So do we want to get rid of it? No. Then we'd be like, what do we want to do?
We want to know it for what it is and use it appropriately.
Yes, I want to know what it is. I saw this hunk of metal outside, and it had these round rubber things, 4 of them. And wow, I was like, what's that? And there's empty space inside, and there's this round thing on one of the sides. I was wondering, what the heck is that? Wonder if I could use it. I wonder what you use it for. Oh. I'm not going to throw it out. It costs too much money. I'm not going to throw it out. We have vehicles to use. This is an important vehicle. The faculty of knowing is an important vehicle. Knowing as opposed to I am. As we move back. Knowledge of its own nature through self-cognition is obtained when consciousness, chit, assumes that form in which it does not pass from place to place. Knowledge of its own nature through self-cognition is obtained when chit, consciousness, assumes that form in which it does not pass from place to place. So, what are we doing? We're stilling, and where does consciousness then return to? The knower, and it remains there, right? It doesn't go from place to place. I'm not losing my subject and object. I know you just got that. Good girl, you get one.
All right, one quick question. The middle card on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
what is there an arrow on it? I didn't get what it is.
This one? It's
No, the middle one.
this one?
Yes, that one, yeah.
It's an arrow. Here we go. The mind, faculty of knowing, colored. Colored. What does that mean? It takes in. So do you ever get up in the morning and look in the mirror and not see your face? No, the mirror is colored by what? Your face. And you go, oh, God, yuck. Yuck, not today. Oh.
That's not who I really am.
Thank God. Thank God that's not who. But it's colored there, right? It's colored. And then what do I, because I'm caught up here if I'm going, ooh, yuck. What am I? I'm lost in what?
The picture.
The picture, the mirror.
Yeah.
But it's
The coloring.
the coloring. And and then I am, my faculty of knowing, because it doesn't see clearly, decides, I look great. No, you're not even seeing. I don't look so good. It's making evaluations. And then the ego then what? Identifies. I look fabulous today. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Me. Right? That's where that all comes from. That mirror. But this mirror is a very different mirror, but it operates the same way. So the mind, this, colored by the knower. That means it's pure and clear. Vroom. So the knower knows it's here, right? Knower knows it's the knower. It's just shining and purely colored into the mirror. And the known, that would be manifestation, is the known, is all apprehending. So when the mirror is completely clean, what is it? What happens to the mirror when it is completely clean?
It's a pure reflection of the knower.
And the known. Because in this system it's Purusha and Prakriti. Correct?
It can take in everything.
It takes in everything. Takes in everything. And then what has to happen? Yeah. It just, you become at one. Kaivalya is at one-ment. So the faculty of knowing just gets to be the faculty of knowing. Is it limited? Doesn't matter. Do I care that this cup is limited? The water, it's water. Is it limited? I don't care. It's off the point. But in sadhana, we have gotten so caught up in protecting this. Why? We think it's us. We think it's us. And so what is consciousness required to do? Just by it washing over us,
This is not.
it breaks that delusion. delusion. So my Baba, and his Baba were here. As in all great beings. And the great game to break that delusion. And it's up to us to be able to recognize what they are offering. And when that Shakti bathes us, we receive it willingly. And are willing to give up our shrunken understanding. Thank you, Baba. Thank you.